Welcome to Mark's British Airways Fleet Update, looking at short and long-haul fleets.
Thanks for joining us on the British Airways Fleet Update. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click for notifications.
Welcome to the next British Airways Fleet Update at the end of April, looking across short and long-haul aircraft in the British Airways fleet and their subsidiaries. Well, as always, we'll kick off and have a look at the British Airways Cityflyer fleet. Lima Charlie Yankee Tango returned from Exeter Aerospace maintenance as Cityflyer 9770 back to London City on the 19th of April, straight into traffic that morning prior to the London City Airport curfew on a Saturday. Lima Charlie Yankee Romeo flew down to Exeter that morning, Cityflyer 9769, the crew of course returning with Yankee Tango that we just spoke about. Lima Charlie Yankee Papa returned from Exeter Aerospace maintenance as Cityflyer 9771 to London City on the 17th of April, and Lima Charlie Alpha Delta flew to Exeter Aerospace as the rather mysterious Cityflyer 7034 from Luton, having previously reached Luton on the Cityflyer 7033 from Madrid, and that had been formed off the Cityflyer 7032 from London City the previous evening. Not entirely clear what those movements were all about. Lima Charlie Alpha Golf flew to Saarbrücken RAS Saar for maintenance as the Cityflyer 9769 from London City on the 21st of April. So quite a bit of activity there with the small Embraer 190 fleet at Cityflyer. Not so much activity on the Gatwick-based EuroFlyer fleet. All that I have to tell you is the uniform X-ray kilo, Echo uniform X-ray kilo, I should say, remains at the British Airways maintenance base in Glasgow, been there since the 31st of March, with only one aircraft now out of use across the fleet, the return of the sublease, and two Titan Airways aircraft on wet lease. That puts British Airways in a strong position at Gatwick to operate its enhanced summer schedules. And just a reminder of those two Titan Airways aircraft, A320 Papa Oscar Whiskey Mike, and the A321, which is a Neo extra long range version, is Oscar Alpha Tango Whiskey. So we whiz across to London Heathrow to look at the Airbus short haul fleet. I've been reminding you regularly through these updates of Airbus A319 Echo Uniform Papa Romeo out in Abu Dhabi. It's been there since the 6th of January. I guess the longer it's there, the more suspicious a few of us are about what's actually going on with it. But currently it's there for maintenance. Delta Bravo Charlie Alpha remains at Glasgow since the 3rd of April for maintenance. And the long-awaited movement of Echo Uniform Oscar Alpha in the 319 fleet for scrap and part out at St Athan took place on the 25th of April. BA 9270 from London Heathrow down to St Athan. And I am producing a dedicated video about one of my flights on that aircraft in its last few weeks, and also talking a bit about the scrap and part out process down at St Athan. So keep your eyes peeled. Watch Mark's Trains, Planes and Trams for that video coming to a screen near you very, very soon. On the Airbus A320 fleet, Echo Uniform Whiskey remains at Malta, been there since the 15th of March for maintenance. Echo Uniform Papa flew to Madrid, BA 9270 on the 9th of April, and a similar movement, the BA 9279 to Dublin on the same day, the 9th of April, for Echo Uniform Sierra. Madrid still holds Airbus A321 November Echo Oscar Papa been there for maintenance since the 26th of March, and November Echo Oscar Tango returned from its Madrid maintenance as the BA 9271 on the 20th of April, whizzing straight back into service the next morning on the BA 752. Well, it's pleasing to report a delivery of another Airbus A320 from Toulouse. BA 9250 flew out of Toulouse to London Heathrow on the 18th of April. After a couple of days on the ground at London Heathrow, Sierra Delta entered traffic on the BA 1328 to Aberdeen on the 20th of April, and hopefully a couple more aircraft on their way. On the Airbus A350 fleet, X-Ray Whiskey Bravo Juliet returned for maintenance at Malta, flying back as the BA 9178 on the 24th of April, and then that worked the BA 289 out to Phoenix the next day. Sadly, British Airways not as organised as perhaps they should have been with aircraft movements and crew, because the next day the replacement aircraft was X-Ray Whiskey Bravo Kilo, and that flew out to Malta as the BA 9170, but of course they couldn't use the same crew to move both aircraft. On the Airbus A380 fleet, things appear to have improved a bit. Echo Bravo remains in Manila at Lufthansa Technik, with its heavy maintenance been ongoing for nearly a couple of months. Many of you will have seen in the media the very sad and unfortunate death of a member of cabin crew in San Francisco. Clearly it's not relevant to the performance of the fleet, but that did lead to a bit of disruption on the A380 fleet, with the cancellation of BA 284 on the 17th of April. The BA 285 was cancelled that evening. The aircraft stepped up to work the BA 286 Echo. Echo remained in San Francisco overnight, went back as the BA 284 the next day, and 285, as I say, cancelled to balance that. The actual performance of the aircraft has been much better. Quite a bit of activity around the British Airways 777 fleet. Sierra Tango Bravo India remains under maintenance at BA Cardiff. Flyer Talk contributor suggests on the website that will be returning next week. Victor India Whiskey remains at Cardiff for its Club Suites fitment, the last example of the Heathrow 777 fleet. But again, Flyer Talk speculation is that's coming back next week as well. Bit of disruption on the BA 2231 out to Bangkok on the 24th of April, that flight leaving nearly 24 hours late the following day after a aircraft shortage at Gatwick. Sticking with the Gatwick fleet, Yankee Mike Delta went technical in Cancun just prior to departure of the BA 2202 on the 20th of April. The aircraft was repaired 3 days later, made its way back to Gatwick as the BA 9174, and after a couple of days of further work resumed commercial duties out to Las Vegas on the BA 2277. Yankee Mike Bravo was sent from Gatwick to Cancun on the 21st of April on a rescue mission, BA 9608. It brought the passengers back with the same flight code 9608. Not entirely clear why they didn't come back as Speedbird 2202 Delta, but that's what happened. Yankee Mike Echo flew Gatwick to Heathrow for maintenance, delayed 24 hours really by that issue, and strangely Yankee Mike Romeo flew in the other direction for maintenance on the 21st of April, spending 4 days at Gatwick, and flew back. Moving on to the Boeing 787 fleet, Zulu Bravo Kilo Lima flew for maintenance to Abu Dhabi on the 5th of April. That remains there. Zulu Bravo Juliet Bravo remains in Cardiff for maintenance. Zulu Bravo Juliet Echo, which we updated last time, has now been fitted with Club Suites. That's expected to return very shortly back to London Heathrow, but it has had nearly 10 months on the ground at Cardiff. So based on what we saw with Kilo Oscar recently, I would anticipate a test flight being required for that aircraft before it resumes passenger service. Zulu Bravo Juliet Golf flew out from London Heathrow to Cardiff on the 26th of April. That aircraft's been out of passenger service since the 8th of April when it failed on pushback of the BA 187 to Austin. So it's not clear if that's heading down to Cardiff as the next Club Suites aircraft or whether it's maybe going for maintenance and repairs. So it'll be interesting to learn a little bit more about that. And briefly referenced it already, but 7879 Zulu Bravo Kilo Oscar has been out of use at London Heathrow since the 25th of June last year with Rolls-Royce engines. That worked a test flight on the 21st of April. The BA 9170 took off from Heathrow, headed north, and turned round over the Scottish lowlands. The Scottish borders, came back to Heathrow. Appears that test was successful because the aircraft was quickly dispatched a few hours later on the BA 109 out to Dubai that evening. And as we bring this update to a close, let's just reflect on the Dreamliner fleet position then. I use this slide just to highlight to you the aircraft that have been out of use for a little while. On the 787-8s, there's Juliet Bravo in Cardiff, Juliet Delta in Cardiff, Juliet Echo in Cardiff, and Juliet Golf has now just joined them. So that's a third of the fleet, actually, a third of the 12 787-8s, either in storage or under work in the Cardiff maintenance facility. But I expect maybe one or two of those aircraft flying back to Heathrow in the next few days. Zulu Bravo Kilo Lima on the 7879 fleet in Abu Dhabi. Zulu Bravo Kilo Sierra appears to have replaced Kilo Oscar as the long-term stopped fleet aircraft member at London Heathrow, and of course 787-10 Lima Delta, which has been out of traffic since the 23rd of September. A number of those aircraft not able to fly because of Rolls-Royce engine issues. Hope you found this useful, this update. I'll be back again very soon on Mark's Trains, Planes and Trams.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.